today on Think About It, we're so pleased to have First Lady Sue Sloan. She's the wife of President Robert Sloan of Houston Baptist University. There's so many things I could say about Mrs. Sloan. She's an encourager. She has obviously the matriarch of an incredible family, children, grandchildren, but she is also the real secret sauce behind the spiritual leader who guards and guides Houston Baptist University that we all love, Dr. Robert Sloan. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you. Great to be here.
We're so glad to have you.
Awesome.
This is a real treat today. And, let's begin. It's common to you, but make sure everyone knows. When you talk about the Sloan family, you talk about a large group of people.
Yeah, we are. We're a baseball team almost. I guess we could have a couple. We could field a whole team.
Right.
Yep. We had them one at a time. And where do you want me to start? I'll say we have 4 girls and 3 boys. And we kind of joke and say every time we moved, we had another baby. And when we got to the last place, I said, we're not moving anymore. But we did have two babies the last time. But we have 3 daughters and 4 sons. And it was girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy. And it has just proved to be so much fun and the best life ever.
And it's so beautiful. And what's interesting to me is that all your children have such intelligence and Christian devotion. Can you just profile them for us?
Well, they let me just say to begin with, we are so thankful to the Lord. Blessed to have 7 children, 7 pregnancies, 7 children. Today, that's almost unheard of. Right. It seems like. Right. But we've had those 7 children, and they married 7 people that we wouldn't have even chosen as well for them. They married people who love the Lord, who know Him intimately, and they've based their marriage on the Lord. So only the Lord can grace you and bless you like that. So we're so thankful. And so I'll start at the top. Carissa is our oldest, and the girls have Greek names. Carissa, Irena, Alethea, and Sophia. Carissa is grace. Mm-hmm. Irena is peace. Alethea is truth. And Sophia is wisdom. And then the boys all have family names. So anyway, we'll get to that. But Carissa's the oldest. She's an attorney and has just been named a federal immigration judge. So we're really proud of her. Really proud of her. She's married to Derek, and he's an ER doc. And so they have a wonderful life together up in Heath, Rockwall County. And they live on some acreage, and they are busy in their church. They host college kids and provide lunch every Sunday. So they have a full life with their careers and their church. And then Brian is married to Amy. They live in Aledo. They have 3 children. And Brian's a realtor, and he's an entrepreneur. He makes things. He makes chess games, and he makes up board games. One of his games just came out again, and it was showing him, opening it up, Crave. So he does fun board games, and usually we get to try them out when we're all together, and we go, ooh, this did not work. This did. That was great. So Brian does that. His wife has a PhD in online education and is just doing fabulous with that. Their children are Robbie and Juliet and Lincoln. Fantastic. And then this will take too long, so I'll go fast. Irena and Lars live in Dallas. She stays at home. He's an attorney and financial planner. And then Michael and his wife, Allie, live in North Carolina. He's a professor at Wake Forest, teaches Greek and Latin classics. And Allie's a stay-at-home. They have 4 kids. Irena and Lars have 4 kids. We say on the ground, they have a son, Samuel, in heaven. And then Alethea and Justin live in Dallas as well. Alethea stay-at-home, but started Classical Connections, an afternoon program for classical education. And Justin's an attorney. And they have 4 kids, four on the ground, one in heaven, Isaiah. And Sophie and Mac have 4 kids. Mac is financial planning with his dad, Dean McFarland. Sophie's stay-at-home mom. And then Paul and Megan are here in Houston. Meg is a nurse practitioner at Texas Children's, and Paul teaches theology here at HBU. They have Elijah and one on the way. So that'll make 23. We love it.
You know, it really, when I look at your family, I just think about what a model they are in so many ways. I mean, obviously they love the Lord, know the Lord, but they carry on. They have such an intellect. I mean, they have so much to impart and share. And I think about Carissa, because before this appointment, God used her to help ministries in crisis who were responding to special challenges, and she had an expertise. But how did that all happen? That I mean, you had children that heart for God and intellect; those are unique combinations.
Well, the intellect comes from their dad. That's where that starts. And,
Wait a minute, it takes 2 to create 1.
But I don't know, when, I mean, I don't know, it was the grace of God, but we always challenged them. Robert always challenged them, do your best. Less than your best is not good enough. And they worked hard when they were little. I mean, Carissa was born in England. Brian and Irena were born in Germany. And then the rest were born as we moved, Roscoe, Fort Worth, Waco, Lorena. So we lived on a farm, and we had, some acreage. We had 100 cows, 4 horses, who knows how many cats and dogs, 7 kids. And they had responsibilities. They had to get up. I taught school full time. I taught elementary school and high school. And so everybody had to do their thing before school, because we had other stuff after school. So they learned responsibility early on. And our life revolved around a 3x5 card, which was the job chart, which ended all arguments, because I knew who hadn't done their job. And it was like, hey, get in here and do it. So they learned responsibility, and they saw their dad work hard. We all worked hard. They helped around the farm and the house. I don't know. I think that's where it starts, with responsibility and expecting your kids to do things. And what I have learned, and I've seen in my grandchildren, is they love helping. They love being responsible. They love seeing that they can do something and that they can contribute. So it makes them happy. And so I think, I don't know, maybe that's where it started. I don't know, just the Lord.
Well, it's a great tribute. Talk about how many grandchildren?
We have 22 and one on the way.
Wow.
And can't wait for that. Right now it's 11 girls and 11 boys. And Robbie, the oldest, will be 13 in August. So we have 22 right now, 12 and under. In August, it'll be 22, 13 and under. And that'll be our first teenager. That's going to be a new thing for us, to have a teenage grandson.
Yeah, our grandson just graduated from high school, so wow, it's hard to believe.
It goes so fast, doesn't it?
It does indeed. You know, and how many years married? I mean, you and Dr. Sloan?
We've been married 50 years.
50. Oh, this is the 50th year. That's
yeah, this is our 50th year. So we started celebrating. We celebrated for a while.
Yeah, until COVID came, right?
Right. We're glad we got in a few things before COVID.
Well,
we decided it was such a big year, we would just, do a lot of little things. So we've had the best time. I would have never imagined. I grew up in Cisco, and Robert grew up in Abilene. We met when we were students at Baylor, married while we were students. And then, we did everything together from there. We went to Princeton and England and Germany. We were dorm parents. I mean, I was the laundry woman. Robert was the dorm daddy. We had 17 kids. Who would have thought that we'd have the opportunities we've had? Our parents were, like most parents in towns like that. but they were faithful and they were just wonderful parents. So we're so thankful for that. But it provided that background, and to, I mean, to have the experiences we've had, I just feel so blessed. Life has been so much fun, so much fun.
And, when I think about Dr. Sloan, I mean, he's a scholar and obviously a university president, a theologian. I love to talk to him about passages in the Bible and just to listen to him exegete them. But, I've told many people that meeting with him reminds me most of when I met Billy Graham. I mean, because of how selfless he is. There's just no big ego. And as we both know, meeting people important through the years, often their egos are about bigger than the room. Um,
Mm.
he has such a approachable, personable,
Mhm.
very genuine spirit. I mean, you obviously have seen that and seen him in action, and I know that's got to mean something to you.
Absolutely. We've He reminds me so much of his dad. Um, I mean, his parents were wonderful. I had the privilege of having the best mother-in-law in the world,
Wow.
and I felt like I was one of theirs. They're wonderful. They were wonderful role models for us. But his dad was orphaned when he was 7 and 8, with the Spanish flu of all things. And as a result of that, I think it had a big influence on it made an impression on his dad. And then his dad was so quiet, just so mild mannered, deadpan, said so little, but when he did, you just died laughing, or you thought, that's the most profound thing I've ever heard. And also, Robert grew up in West Texas. I don't know if you've known very many West Texans.
Yeah.
They tend to be quiet,
Yeah.
and they tend to be very unassuming.
Mhm.
And so with that, I think that's part of his genetic makeup and who he is and where he came from. But what I've really seen through the years is the presence of God in his life.
Mhm.
And he starts every morning with him. And it begins there. And so I'm just so proud of him. I'm thankful for him, most of all, though.
We had the chairman of Hobby Lobby, David Green, recently at
Mhm.
Houston Baptist. I'll never forget what he said. I'd never heard anybody say that. And Dr.
Mhm.
Sloan and myself and another gentleman were getting ready to have a little meeting. And
Mm.
David Green turned and said to Dr. Sloan, being a college president is the most difficult job in the world.
Mm.
And coming from the lips of a guy who has 40,000 employees and 900 stores, I thought, well, if anybody knows about difficult jobs, David Green does. It's not, and I liken it to, a mega church is one thing, but I said to Dr. Sloan once when we were together, a university is like 500 mega churches. It's, I mean, it really is because you have so many hundreds of staff. It's a virtual city, as you know, and
Right.
how has he been able to do such a remarkable job at Houston Baptist University and manage all of the unique challenges?
I think he just has a mindset for it. You know, he was a professor
Yeah,
long before he was a president. And then before he was president, he was a dean. And so he's experienced all parts of the university. I mean, he was never a staff member, but he certainly had to work within a university, several of them. And there's so many personalities, and you realize there's so much going on.
yeah,
Just, it's kind of like that little thing swimming, and it looks calm on top and you're pedaling like crazy underneath, because everybody wants what they want.
right.
And so what I think he does so well is he gets the mission. He looks at it and he goes, what is the mission? What are we trying to accomplish? And I love the mission at HBU and the preamble. It's so simple. And the simpler it is, almost the more profound it is, right? And so uh, when you know the direction you're heading, and most important, you know who your boss is, who is the Lord, obviously, then I think it helps you put things in perspective. But I think he understands things like maybe not every president does. If you've come from, wherever, whatever your experiences are. But anyway, his experiences, I think, have fed into that, and it helps.
And there's a rich academic a richness to HBU that is distinguished. It's unique, and the quality. It reminds me of in a class all of its own. That so this is like my 140th podcast I think I've done. So I've met so many people who've been impacted by HBU, and I've listened to their stories. And everyone has said the same thing, is that this has changed my life. So you guys have a lot of fruit that you know of, and a lot of fruit vicariously you don't know of.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was just thinking about this the other day. You think about where you've gotten to go, and what you've done, and we look at HBU, and we think about when we came here. It was a wonderful university, and we had 2 presidents come before us that were just wonderful people. But we thought, oh, we're done with higher ed. We wouldn't go anymore. And then the thing that drew us here was that it was a university well on its way in a major city. And so we thought, well, that's challenging. That's kind of interesting. But what I really love about HBU, and really what I want to get on the TV shows and say, because you hear them kind of just blasting universities in general.
Right.
And I want to say, we're not one of those. Don't lump us in that despicable bag. We're different. And it's just what you said. We're unique.
Yes.
We teach a broad historical perspective, and we teach the Constitution. Right. And really, we're teaching kids what to think, not how to think. We teach them how to think, not what to think.
Right.
We teach them how to think for themselves so that they can make their decisions. And I love that. I look at the honors the whole thing. You look at the art department, honors, STEM, education, you name every single department, seminary, the theology department. And people say they love it because it's small classes, people know their name, they can talk to their professors. It is just unique. It is such a distinctive place. And it's just what you're saying. You have scholars, true scholars from all over the world that have come. In Houston, you can get great people, who maybe just want to do a little course. So we have not only our full-time people, but also the people that are readily available and want to come help. So it's a unique opportunity for sure. Never seen anything like it.
Well, and when you, remember back to the first year that you all were here to today, the growth has been unbelievable. And it's the expansion of HBU from what it was to where it is just unbelievable. And I want to encourage everyone to go to hbu.edu, click on Robert Sloan, and go through all of the what we would call stones of remembrance. They're all the many visionary steps that were made, that Dr. Sloan felt led of God to move the university forward. And as he has said, it is a unique thing to have a Christian university in what is soon to be the 3rd largest city in America. And the potential of that in the future is just astounding. Now, you've seen all this happen, Sue, and someone said every time something's built, someone paid the price to build it. And you guys have paid the price. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of everything. And so many of us are grateful to you. And so many of us don't even realize how much work it is. I mean, can you reflect for a minute the amount of effort it took the last 10, 11, 12 years?
Well, it is an incredible effort, but you can't do it by yourself. You know, it you have to have a team. And Robert would say this is the best team he's ever had. Every colleague, every executive council member, it's incredible. They are just absolutely wonderful, and it's been fun. You know, when you're having fun, you don't think of it as work,
Right.
and the blessing that you see when you see it grow. And I'm looking outside and I can see cars coming in. So nice. But it is just fantastic to be a part of something where God is at work, and it is God at work. And so we're thankful to be there. It hasn't seemed like work all the time. But you know, you always have growing pains, right?
Right.
But it's okay. It's been really fun because of the team and all the faculty and staff that work here. We're just so grateful and thankful to be a part.
You know, I want you to take a minute and just minister to the people that are facing discouragement. They've gone through some of the challenges of recent weeks and months, and they, you know, kind of a weird era. As Dr. Sloan said today on ISPC, probably once in our lifetime will we go through something quite like a pandemic. And I thought that his remarks today were just so powerful, and so it registered with all the 70 or however many leaders were on that Zoom. But
Sure.
I mean, I want you to, from your perspective, because you have faced challenges and God has rallied you, and you know, like my wife, there's nothing like a matriarch of a family to speak into the entire family.
Mm.
Everybody listens. And
Mm.
I want you to speak into people's lives right now about how they can keep on keeping on in the midst of whatever challenge they may be facing.
Well, you would agree. I know we all agree. We're going to all face challenges. Life isn't perfect. We think, oh, we've arrived. We don't. There will always be challenges. We'll always have challenges. Maybe one of my favorite verses that I go back to all the time is be joyful always, pray continually, and be joyful always, pray continually, and give thanks in all circumstances. So that is the first thing, because that tells us it's not always going to be good, but we can always find something to be thankful for. But in the end, one of my favorite Psalms is Psalm 84. And it talks about the pilgrimage to Jerusalem. But there is that part where it says, when you go through the valley of weeping, it will become a place of blessing, where pools of blessing collect after the rain. And so we'll always have those times. But in thankfulness, in all circumstances, we'll have those pools of blessing that collect, because the Lord is good. I mean, that verse, I'd written this down earlier because I can't remember the Bible word for word like Robert can. But and I just had thought this was something I wanted to remind us. But in verse 11 of that psalm, it says, the Lord God is our light and our protection. He gives us grace and glory. No good thing will the Lord withhold from those who love the Lord. And then it ends with, O Lord Almighty, happy are those who trust in you. And I think that's it. When we trust in the Lord, we know that it's not going to be perfect, but we know we're in his hands, and so we're safe and we're protected. And troubles will come, but we're being held by the one who created us all. So I'm so thankful. And I do want to encourage everyone to say, hang in there. You know, the Lord Almighty holds our hands and takes care of us and gives us light and grace and grace.
So well said. And that Psalm 84:11 is an absolute gem, as we say. It's interesting. That was the verse I taught my daughter Danielle, and she locked onto it. First Lady Sue Sloan is a reminder to us that not only can we endure the present, but we can anticipate blessings for the future because
Oh,
God is on the throne. Um,
amen.
Sue, we're so proud of you and grateful for you. We're grateful for all the many things you do that we don't even know about to keep everything keeping on. And just thank you so much for taking a few minutes to just share with us and the HBU Greater family. We love you and we appreciate you and your entire family.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here. Thanks for asking.